Welcome back to Contend 101, where we are having some tough conversations to make it easier for you to contend for your relationships. Larry Gonzalez, welcome to our little thing. I don't know.
I love this little thing.
I mean,
whatever it is, I love it.
We're just figuring it out. Today, I'm so excited because we are talking about how to shoot your shots.
Yeah.
You are the perfect guy for this. And listen, I'm aware people may be watching this and they have two thoughts. They're either like, what does that even mean? And for those fellow people that aren't into sports, I see you, I hear you, I am one of you. And then they have other people that maybe know what it means, but they're like, why are we talking about dating right now? But we're not just talking about dating, though we may frame that in the context of your experience.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, what is this term shoot your shot all about and how does it connect to our relationships?
Yeah. So shoot your shot. Verbiage, and that comes from basketball, right? You're trying to shoot that shot,
Go
make
sports.
that shot. Yep.
Yay, sports.
So all sports, we love sports. And so that's where it comes from, right? And so the idea there is like when you're, especially in dating, when you're trying to shoot your shot and ask somebody out,
give it a go.
you know,
Like,
you're shooting your shot and you're hoping that you make it. You're hoping that you don't get rejected.
Right.
The rejection is like missing the shot, right? And so that's kind of where that comes from. And so the idea is like, you want to shoot your shot. You want to see if that shot is received. There's interest.
Yeah.
Yep. The interest is reciprocated.
And I think the reality of that is when we're in a series like Contend and we're looking how Jesus interacted with people that were done doubting or disengaged with their faith, we want to cultivate and contend for our relationships in every area. And this is actually an area of our relationships, whether you're single and in the context of a romantic relationship, dating, asking someone out, or maybe you're just lonely and you've been at church for the one, or you've found this online somehow. And the reality is that loneliness is an actual epidemic in our world these days. And yet we're not shooting our shot when it comes to friendships, when it comes to community.
Yeah.
Why do you think we don't?
Yeah, I think it often comes with the fear of being rejected. And that comes with insecurity.
Larry,
maybe.
I forgot to set our timer.
Oh,
This is terrible.
Oh,
this
no.
is okay. It's okay, everybody.
does this mean we get extra time?
It might mean that we get extra time on the board. See how I use the basketball analogy? Did I use the basketball? Is there time on the board? Is that a thing?
There is.
Let's pretend there's a timer on the board. I've set the timer.
Yep.
Stay with us. It's going to be a really good conversation. As you were saying.
Yeah. The fear of being rejected comes from insecurity.
That's why we don't do it.
Lack of confidence, right? And so I think in order to be able to step out and shoot your shot, you got to spend time building your character, spending time in honestly shooting and missing and being okay with missing and maybe sometimes even expecting it. Like, hey, I'm shooting, I'm not even ready, but I'm going to keep shooting. And, you know, it's one of those things where it takes work. Going to someone random, right, and asking somebody to be your friend, like it's actually kind of weird to like do
days,
that, right? Like,
I mean, we remember being like 5 in the sand pit or sandbox at school, and you're like, you want to be my friend?
Yeah.
Like, if someone had like a Barbie doll, I was like, she can be my friend. Like, it made sense. But now when you're in your 30s or you have like a real adult job with adult responsibilities, what do? Like, walk up to someone in the Target line and you're like, hey, do you want to be my friend? Like, it's weird. So it makes sense that the awkwardness of whether you're asking someone out or you're asking your boss for a raise or asking them how you can get this new opportunity you want, or you're asking someone to be your friend. I feel like the older we get, the more we feel like we shouldn't have to put ourselves out there anymore. But as kids, I think we had a reality that we almost need to come back to, which is if you don't ask, you can't get.
Yes.
And they are so like, think about a kid. If someone's like, I don't want to be your friend, they're like, oh, okay, whatever.
Right.
And they go to the next, but somewhere along the way, the rejection became a lot more personal.
Yes. And it was something natural. Like it just happened, right? And so going back to kind of the metaphor, right, of like shooting your shot, sports, like you're not just randomly getting on the court and just shooting, right? A fan isn't just getting in the court and just shooting. Like the people that are shooting, you've been preparing, you've been on the court. Like there's times where like, unless you're Steph Curry, it might take you a while to get that heat going.
Take a few goes,
you know, and so you're having to shoot a little, you're having to be in there a little. And so making friends and maybe even finding the person, if you're single and you're looking to date, like it may take some time of you just investing in being present and being involved, and not first seeking to serve yourself, but seeking to serve others and seeking to care and show people, like, hey, hearing somebody, we talk about stories a lot here, like getting to hear somebody's story. Like, we all love to talk about each other. So if you ask somebody about them, they're going to spend time sharing. And there's nothing more attractive than to be in conversation with somebody that cares about your story, right?
That's
and
really good.
So I think that's a big start. Like, my wife and I, we've been married for almost a year now.
Yeah, you have.
Right? But we're yep. But we were friends for over a year.
Right, yeah. Right? I was wondering if you could tell that story, because this has really been one of the reasons I wanted you to talk about this is because not just you being our youth pastor and kind of being in a lot of people's worlds that are navigating this in their life, but you also navigated this in the context of dating.
Yes.
And so how did that work for you?
Yeah. I think we all have the things that we want, right, in a significant other, but the one thing that I wanted, that I asked God, was I wanted somebody that loved God and loved the church as much as I did, or even more. Yeah. And Rachel was that person that I immediately was like, man, I honestly was like, there's no way. There's no way this is happening.
You just count yourself out immediately.
For many reasons, I was like, there's no way this is happening. But I was like, but God, like, someone like her.
Okay, Jesus.
Someone like her would be amazing. And we were just friends. We worked together. And so we were just doing our own thing in the same circles. And she got to see who I was. Right. I got to see who she was, and build a friendship. You know, I was like, all right, she laughs at my jokes. Let's go. Right. You know, we're in. And then it got to the point where I was like, there's no question that this is the person I want to pursue. And I felt confident in shooting my shot, because I knew that she had seen me and been around me long enough to know who I was. And I was like, if I get rejected,
got it. Yep.
It's okay, because I'm not getting rejected and not being given a chance at all.
That's great.
You know, but if she rejects me, it's because this isn't meant to be.
That's actually a really practical piece in there, though. Yep. Being around someone long enough in a friendship space, for them to know who you are. Yeah. And so you know that they know what you bring to the table. Yep. And part of that is confidence. Part of that is knowing you've done the work. Yep. Part of that is knowing who you've become. And so if she says no to you, it's not because you know what we can say. We're going to be like, well, they don't even really know me. If they knew me, they'd say, but it's actually a great thing. Because it's like, you knew that you guys were friends. She knew what you brought to the table. So if there was a rejection when you shot your shot, then it's okay, because it just means it wasn't meant to be. Whereas sometimes I think we try to skip the process, and you got people shooting their shot in every basket, if you will. But it's like, these people don't even know your last name. Yep. Like, how is that even going to work? Right. So I think that's awesome. What if somebody is in a friendship, in a feeling lonely, wanting community, and it's really easy, I feel like, to throw out there, well, I don't have community, or no one wants to get to know me. What does it look like to shoot your shot with friendships? Yeah, I think I'll go back to the getting out of a mindset of nobody's here for me, nobody's doing something for me, or coming to me and saying, who am I going to go to? It's great. Who am I going to serve? Who am I going to be intentional with? And it's hard to be lonely when you're doing that, because there's always people that you can, that are feeling lonely or that need a friend. And so if you're going out of your way, and honestly, within the church, like, if you are serving, if you are connected, if you're not just in and out on a Sunday, but you're actively engaged, it's hard for you not to build friends and community. But it takes intentionality from you. Like, we can't, you know, I've been in church all my life, and I've made these excuses at some point of saying, like, man, nobody's connected with me. I never connected with anybody. But
if I look back,
yep.
those were the times that I was waiting for somebody to seek me rather than me
taking that ownership and saying, what can I bring?
Yep.
And I feel like that mix of confidence and wisdom and the journey God takes us on, honestly, when it looks like, when Jesus would tell people and be like, hey, I'm coming to your house for lunch today. Like Jesus would like the audacity, but then you're the Son of God. So he knew what he brought to the table. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think it's not an arrogance. There is just a confidence in knowing who I am and knowing like I'm worth being a friend to someone.
Exactly.
Not I'm worth having a friend, not I'm worth like having a spouse, not I'm worth getting all these benefits, but I know that I can be a great friend to someone.
Yes.
And that mentality, I think, brings a whole different perspective when we're opening ourselves up for community.
Right.
Oh, there's the timer. There it is. Larry, are there any last thoughts in shooting your shot before we head off?
I'll say this with what you were saying, shooting your shot, it's your shot. So you have to take ownership in it. And it's your shot, not just for your benefit, but for the benefit of others, the benefit of the team, right? But whatever that looks like, if it's in a relationship, a dating, it's not for your benefit. It's for the benefit that, for the person that you are inviting into your life. And in a friendship, same thing, for the community that you are stepping into. So it's your shot.
So good. Yep. Larry, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Contend 101. Peace.